These are tickets. Remember them? Then tell me, were they removed in 2018, 2019, 2020, or 2021? If you chose B, you'd be wrong. Tickets were removed in 2020. And now here's the history of everything else Supercell got rid of. Brawl Stars' journey of removing things began way back at the start of the game's existence, when Supercell began to make big developing changes to make a simple but enjoyable game. Brawler boxes were one of the first things to go. Basically, they were exactly what they sound like they are. Boxes that give you brawlers. Except you could get brawlers that you already had and it would just give you a cheap fallback reward or something. Elixir was also removed. This was the initial upgrade system for brawlers, which was primarily run with Elixir, before the modern day when players just have an overabundant amount of power points that they can't put anywhere else. With lack of a better word, the Elixir system was confusing, so it had to go. Also, power cubes were Elixir at some point. TNT boxes, kind of like the ones you see in the training cave, those used to be in matches too. Heist was their place to be in 2017, but nowadays, their place is just not in Brawl Stars. Another thing that was not meant to be here was Poco's swan song. Here's what it does. People who played Brawl Stars Vertical also got kidnapped and removed. Just kidding. The game got switched from up and down to normal for a phone game. The start of 2019 eliminated a small feature that most of the OGs probably forgot of by now. That, of course, is the removal of bush growth. Back then, a specific color of grass would simply regrow after being destroyed by anything, and it was the only naturally repairing environment I think the game has ever seen. Then, Brawl Stars deleted its first ever skin. Back in the early days of Brawl Stars, there was another skin for Pam known as Egg Pam. I have to stop making videos right before Brawl Talk. Fast forward to the summer of that year, and we have the addition of second star powers, which ultimately deleted this magnificent logo. RIP old star power thing. Later that August, Gene was in his early days of existence, and it was brought to the world's attention that he had a star power that sucked. So guess what? They removed it. Let's see what Hank thinks about that. Hank!
Is something wrong, Jimbo?
Yes!
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. What's going on?
Okay, hold on. I need you in my life.
You do? That's very sweet. But I'm just a playful bug.
I meant, you know Gene, right?
Of course. Who doesn't know Gene?
Exactly. Well, how do you feel that immediately after his release, he had a star power that was just removed? It's almost a trait that you two share in common because you lost something too very early on that we'll talk about later in the video.
Oh, yeah. The Gene star is being taken away.
Oh!
I get what you mean. It's like a part of him is missing.
Yeah, a part of me is missing too.
You'll find it, don't worry. Just like Gene. You can grow and adapt without it.
Wait, did I just get friend-zoned by Hank? This video was sponsored by PolyAI. Thanks so much to them for finally letting me talk to Hank. Everything maintained its position after that all the way until May when Piper's initial auto-aimer gadget was removed. Granted, this is technically a rework, but since enough functionality of a gadget said peace out, I just had to include it here. Then, the Brawl Pass came out, so the pretty little star token things that you used to get regularly, they were eliminated. It used to take 10 of them to get a big boxes, but then big boxes were just part of the Brawl Pass. Tickets! Not these tickets you use for arcade mode, but these tickets that you once needed to enter boss fight. Anyways, this was how you could gamble in Brawl Stars by wagering tickets to earn progress towards regular boxes and turn your mind into that of a future slot machine player. Mr. P slides into the next slot because in July of 2020, his tin can star power was removed. All it did was increase the boarder's base health, limiting its potential, so they redid it all so that the porters themselves would actually be stronger. Then we have another star power. This next update in September removed 8-Bit's extra life. You've probably heard of it 1,000 times by now, so we'll just move on. Gale released around then in Season 1, and as the first chromatic, he already had a removed feature. He used to have a star power called Second Wind, where his wind would wind up allies and give them a speed boost. This made Max jealous, and she wrote a long, detailed email to Supercell, leading to the elimination of Gale's star power. He then got some other star power that made him slow down enemies by hitting them with his balls. Then, Bad Randoms got a huge nerf. Unfortunately, They weren't removed from the game altogether, but rather, they lost the ability to score on their own net in Brawl Ball. That's right, you used to actually be able to do that. It could occur naturally if you were spamming your ammo in a crease conflict, but it was pretty rare, and eventually the feature became the troll's way to drop trophies. Bad times. December of 2020 permanently removed Showdown from Brawl Stars. Well, metaphorically, because December of 2020 was the release of the free brawler named Edgar, who is now in every Showdown match we play and just ruining it. Mapmaker was added at some point, and in its early days, you actually played the mode for trophies. This was obviously a very unbalanced feature. So, January 2021, Mapmaker trophies were taken out and it was then just played for funsies. In March, the Power Play game mode was deleted. It was the earliest competitive Brawl Stars mode where you only got 3 matches a day. It was boring as all heck, and rightfully so. It was deleted from the game and replaced with Power League, a slightly better competitive mode. Tick then ticks his way into the video with a gadget that got removed. Backup Mine let him dash to the side like Shelly and lay an egg like Pam. I guess it's just a little underwhelming. It ended up becoming his last hurrah gadget. Supercell also took a moment to remove Bee's Honeycomb. This was also probably one you've heard of 1,000 times, but basically it let her survive at 1 health like that one angel ability, and all in all, it was just too dangerous to be kept alive. In 2022, Brawl Stars had quite a few limited time modes. Super City Rampage in particular, I personally had no problem with, but it was deemed not worthy and ultimately scrapped without much of a notice. Brock once had an incendiary star power that let his rockets set fire to the ground after impact. So cool, right? Well, it was deleted, because now he doesn't even need a star power to burn everything. Surge is our next victim here. Unfortunately, he wasn't removed, but both of his gadgets were. He had a major rework as a brawler, and part of it was to remove the teleport gadget as well as the old Surge, and in the meantime, make the game just a wee bit better. It kinda temporarily worked. June of 2022 brought us the elimination of Penny's pocket detonator gadget. This was her only way of breaking walls in game, and then it was just suddenly removed. I guess I should say this was also the removal of literally everything else Penny had. No, you forgot comments. Everything was removed. Try me. She was reworked entirely, and a whole lot of features from the rest of Penny were all eliminated. Gears. If you let out a chuckle at this Squid Game meme, you don't have a bad sense of humor. You just played Brawl Stars during the early era of Gears and remembered the fecal fantasy the old Gears of Brawl Stars were. In their early days, Gears costed gear upgrade token things and a whole lot more, and for minimal abilities you needed maximum resources to max out. This was so hated by the community, but since we have such W community managers, the old Gears were literally removed. It was for the best. What wasn't for the best though, was the removal of the last stand mode. This didn't hurt anybody, but it still went. We had a free roaming 8-bit mode for like 2 weeks before it vanished, never to be played again, and this was upsetting. But I don't know, I don't blame them. Then, in December of 2022, Brawl Boxes were removed. And you'll say, but oh Jimbo, you're wrong, they came back in summer of 24. No, watch this. You get star drops now. No Brawl Box for you. In the same update, an entire rarity was killed. That would be the Trophy Road rarity. Surprisingly enough, it's been over 2 years since that existed. Basically though, there was a series of 12 brawlers you could unlock on your journey to 10,000 trophies. That's all. They were now Star Road brawlers since it only made sense. 2023's first removal was Experience. This blue star looking thing was meaningless. Completely meaningless. You'd win 100 matches and then just get like 20 progression points or something like that for your Brawl Pass. Plus, this was replaced with Mastery. Mastery is cool. It leads to dirty jokes. Remember this starting screen? Yeah, it was removed. This shiny thing, it was a star point. If you got this and 24,999 of his friends, you could have bought Jet Ski Jackie. That's what I did, but I did it before May of 2023 because on this date, they were removed forever. Bling came in them. Min packs, they were formerly my favorite thing to get and my #1 use of gems. I mean, they were the primary way to get pins since you couldn't just buy whichever ones you wanted, so you had to get lucky. But then, they just removed these lovely packs and said, oh hey, now you can just buy the best pins for 9 gems each. Now that Jimbo spent 4,000 gems.
What the was that? Melodians, 발동한대.
Next to be removed was Hank's regeneration while charging his bubbles. That's a mouthful, like my mouthful of Rodeo Hank's milk. Anyways, Hank used to naturally regenerate health while charging his bubbles, but he had so many haters that he lost this natural ability. Weird, right? Stats bars. I don't know when they were removed. I asked on Twitter, and it might have been the Mastery update, but by the time I finished the script, some people had said it was the Hypercharge update, and that's where I ended up keeping it. Upon further review though, I think it was the Mastery update. Club League. Remember boring old Club League that was a great way to get coins? Yeah, no one liked it, so they got rid of it. This mode was replaced by a similar boring mode with a giant pig. I don't know why, but club events just can't be fun, and at this point, I don't even blame Supercell anymore. Club coins. This shop was removed with Club League. This removal. Yeah, I pay to lose, so I get it. Power points once had a cap. Once you exceeded that cap, you got gold. I loved gold, but since the cap said peace out, now I'm left with too many power points to use and not enough true gold skins to be happy. So now what do? The chromatic rarity was booted next. These 21 brawlers were dispersed across the mythic and epic rarities for the most part, with 2 legendary exceptions. This is why there's gonna be 30 mythics soon. Chromatics were too hard to get for free-to-play players, so now a third of all brawlers are 1 rarity. The most beautiful currency was also removed. The OG Brawl Pass that we once knew was the next to go. After 21 2-month seasons, the Brawl Pass was eliminated, as well as many other beloved features. You could no longer buy Brawl Passes with gems, and now it was 100% behind a paywall. You could no longer get a new brawler with all of their pins and a bunch of other cosmetics, and overall, there is no longer a 70 tier pass. Now, we have the shrinkflated Brawl Pass. Power League was eliminated just about a year ago in February 2024. It was a broken competitive mode, and Supercell had to make one last major change to the competitive world of Brawl Stars before we reached our current ranked. In April of 2024, RT lost his inline gadget. Once I rated it a 2 of 10 instead of 1 of 10, and everyone hated me for that. That's how bad the gadget was. Anyways, it was swapped with out of line, which is so much better. I'll even admit it. Chester then lost his Bell Omania star power instead of, the sneak peek one, and his 4th bell just became part of the brawler. The new star power just made his 1 bell shot better. Bling! It used to have a cap, but that cap was weird because there was a million ways to exceed the cap and not really get any punishments for anything. So can I say it was removed if it never really functionally existed? And finally, we have this. The only ever temporary brawler, hopefully only ever temporary brawler. Anyways, Buzz Lightyear got removed in early February. The community loved it. And speaking of the community, here's our specials for today.